Disclaimer. This movie review is based on scenes and characters from Uchenna Mubunabo TV02 for entertainment, commentary, and review purposes only. All credits go to the original producers and cast. If there is one thing Nigerian movies know how to do well, it is mixing entertainment with life lessons, and Jato the General delivered exactly that. From heartbreak to comedy, manipulation to karma, this movie kept me glued from beginning to end. Honestly, this was not just another random Nollywood drama. It was emotional, funny, frustrating, and at some point, you will even find yourself shouting at the screen because of Jato's behavior. This movie shines a light on relationships, emotional manipulation, womanizing, fake lifestyles, and the consequences of hurting people carelessly. One thing I really appreciated was how realistic some of the conversations felt. The writers did not try to make everything look perfect. Instead, they gave us raw emotions and relatable experiences many people face silently. Let's talk about it. The movie opens with Nadia, a young woman who is emotionally broken after suffering multiple heartbreaks. The pain in her voice during her conversation with her aunt immediately sets the tone of the movie. You could feel her exhaustion. She had loved deeply, trusted completely, and in return, received nothing but pain. That scene alone was enough to pull viewers emotionally into the story. Her aunt's advice was calm, mature, and comforting. She reminded Nadia that heartbreak does not reduce her worth as a woman. I loved that moment because many people watching could relate to it. Sometimes after repeated disappointments, people begin to blame themselves for how badly others treated them. The movie handled that emotional pain in a simple but touching way. Then enters Jato, or should I say, the General. This man carried confidence like it was a full-time job. From the very first scenes, Jato presented himself as the classic rich playboy who believes money can buy attention, affection, and loyalty. The funny thing is that he genuinely believed no woman could resist him. His lifestyle was loud, flashy, and reckless. Expensive drinks, smooth talk, manipulation. But let me ask you something. Have you ever watched a movie character and immediately knew this person's downfall is loading? Because that was exactly the feeling Jato gave me. The scene where he approached Nadia aggressively after seeing her outside was honestly uncomfortable to watch. Nadia clearly said she was not interested, but he kept pushing and trying to impress her with money and confidence. One thing I appreciated was how Nadia stood her ground. She was not desperate, and she refused to be intimidated by wealth or flashy talk. That rejection wounded Jato's pride badly. And from that moment, it became less about love and more about conquest. One thing this movie did very well was exposing how some men manipulate women emotionally just for ego satisfaction. Jato was not genuinely interested in commitment initially. He simply could not handle rejection. To him, every woman was a challenge to win and discard later. The scary part? His friends enabled him. Instead of correcting him, some of them praised his toxic behavior like it was achievement. They laughed about deceiving women, setting traps, and playing games with emotions. The movie cleverly showed how bad company can normalize terrible behavior. But despite all his tricks, Nadia slowly started opening her heart again. Their relationship development was actually interesting to watch because you could see Nadia fighting internally between fear and hope. After multiple heartbreaks, trusting again was difficult for her. Yet Jato kept appearing patient, charming, and attentive. And honestly, for a moment, even viewers could start believing maybe he had changed. But this movie said, relax first. The biggest shock came when we discovered Jato was living multiple lives at once. Different women, different lies, different stories. At some point, I even got confused about how he kept up with all the deception. The most painful revelation was discovering that he was involved with sisters at the same time and had even gotten one pregnant. That twist completely changed the emotional weight of the story. Suddenly, this was no longer just casual cheating. It became deep betrayal and emotional destruction. The confrontation scenes were intense. You could feel the disappointment from his friends, too. Even they started realizing Jato had crossed dangerous lines. One of the strongest messages from the movie is that constant dishonesty eventually destroys trust completely. And can we talk about karma in this movie? Because karma did not knock politely. It kicked the door open. The mysterious voice tormenting Jato became one of the most interesting parts of the story. At first, it looked funny. The random accusations interrupting his conversations made some scenes hilarious. I will not lie, I laughed several times. Especially when he tried lying in front of the pastor and the strange voice immediately exposed him. That scene was comedy gold. But underneath the humor was a deeper message. The movie used spiritual symbolism to represent guilt, consequences, and accountability. Jato spent so much time deceiving people that eventually he could not escape himself anymore. His lifestyle finally caught up with him. The loss of his confidence, his business embarrassment, and even his personal struggles showed how actions eventually produce consequences. Whether viewers interpret it spiritually or psychologically, the message remained clear. Hurting people carelessly can eventually destroy your peace. One thing I genuinely enjoyed was the chemistry among the supporting cast. Ben and Max added so much entertainment to the movie. Their arguments, jokes, food obsession, and reactions made heavy scenes lighter. Nollywood sometimes struggles with balancing comedy and serious storytelling, but this movie blended both naturally. Ben especially surprised me. At first, he looked like just another loyal sidekick, but later he became one of the few characters willing to challenge Jato's behavior directly. He understood that Nadia was genuinely a good woman and deserved respect. And honestly, Ben spoke facts. Nadia was one of the strongest characters in the movie. Despite her emotional wounds, she still carried herself with dignity. She was calm, respectful, hardworking, and emotionally mature. She did not chase money blindly, and she did not allow herself to be controlled by manipulation. That made her stand out immediately. I also appreciated how the movie showed that being wealthy does not automatically make someone valuable emotionally. Jato had money, cars, influence, and connections, but internally he lacked discipline and emotional responsibility. Meanwhile, Nadia, who appeared simpler and quieter, carried more integrity than him. That contrast was powerful. Another thing worth praising is the dialogue. The mix of English and Pidgin made the conversations feel natural and realistic. Some lines were genuinely funny, while others carried emotional depth. The movie did not try too hard to sound overly dramatic every second. It felt relatable. The soundtrack and background narration also added mystery and tension, especially during the scenes involving Jato's torment. Those poetic voiceovers about broken promises and hidden darkness gave the movie a unique atmosphere. Visually, the production looked decent too. The locations, costumes, and lifestyle settings matched the characters well. Jato's flashy environment reflected his personality perfectly. The directors clearly understood the image they wanted for his character. Now, let's discuss the ending message. This movie is not just about romance. It is about accountability. Many people move through relationships carelessly, forgetting that emotions are real. Some treat people like temporary entertainment without considering the long-term damage they cause. Blank reminds viewers that every action eventually has consequences. No matter how smart, rich, or confident someone feels, truth eventually catches up. And for those who have experienced heartbreak like Nadia, the movie quietly encourages healing instead of bitterness. Pain should not completely destroy someone's ability to love or trust again, but wisdom is important too. Would I recommend this movie? Absolutely yes. If you enjoy Nollywood dramas filled with relationship lessons, emotional twists, humor, betrayal, and spiritual suspense, then this movie is worth your time. It keeps you entertained while still delivering meaningful lessons.
My favorite parts were definitely Nadia standing up for herself, the pastor exposing Jato's lies, Ben defending Nadia, the mysterious voice interrupting Jato, the emotional reveal involving the sisters. Those moments gave the movie real impact. Now, let me ask you guys, do you think Jato truly changed at the end? Or was he only scared because consequences finally reached him? And if you were Nadia, would you forgive someone like Jato after everything he did? Drop your honest opinions in the comments, because this movie definitely sparked plenty of thoughts. Overall rating, 8 out of 10. It had drama, comedy, suspense, emotion, and strong lessons wrapped into one entertaining story. Some scenes were over the top, as expected in Nollywood, but the overall message landed very well. And trust me, after watching this movie, some people will start checking their own relationship behaviors twice. If you enjoyed this review, please support my channel Flicks and Feels by subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing this review with fellow Nollywood lovers. Your support encourages me to keep bringing more entertaining and detailed movie reviews like this one. See you in the next review.